All right, hi everybody. We're going to make a double pinch pot. This is not the animal part, this is just the body of the animal. You will take 2 cubes of clay and round them into spheres. If you remember from when we made pinch pots, we are just making 2 pinch pots right now. So first you can have a water bowl if you feel like you need to for the rounding of the pinch pots. If you notice any cracks, you can also just smooth them out while you're rolling it into a sphere. The smoother it is now, the prettier it will be later and easier it will be to remove any indents or bumps or cracks later. So I'm going to fast forward this a little. I rolled my first sphere and now I'm rolling my second, and I'm going to start making my pinch pots. Remember, you want it to be round like a sphere before you make a pinch pot. It's okay if one is a little bigger than the other. It's actually very helpful when we connect the two. So if one seems a little bit larger, don't worry about it. Okay, if you remember how to make a pinch pot, you put your thumb in first and you pinch from the inside out. So you pinch from the very bottom of the pinch pot and you turn it, and then you pinch the middle of the pinch pot as you turn, and then the very last part will be the top. This time you don't have to worry about how straight the top is because we're going to connect these. We won't see the top of this anymore once they're connected. So I'm going to fast forward this a little so you don't have to watch me make 2 pinch pots. Make these the thickness of the walls of your first pinch pots, the first 3 you made. Don't try to make it extra thin or the double pinch pot might indent. So now that I have 2, I take the larger one and I flare out the edge along the top. So as you can see, I'm just pinching the edge and it almost looks like a flower. The second one, you can leave it or you can try to pinch in a little. That doesn't really matter. I'm showing you how to pinch in, but honestly, you can just leave it. What we need to make sure is that the larger one that's flared out can fit over the smaller one. And it's okay if they're exactly the same size. You want one that's flared out, and now I'm making it really thin along the top edge so it's easier to blend later. And I'm setting it on top of the other pinch pot. So you should have the look of this, whatever form you want that to be. Oh, I noticed a little sunken in part of my pinch pot, so I fixed it right before. So check your pinch pots before you connect them. All right, this is what we do. Now we bend the flared edge back up and we smooth it into the first pinch pot. So now we're making what almost looks like an egg. First, I'm just using my hand to smooth them together. Eventually, I will use a wooden tool because some of these little cracks are really small. And while I can try to scratch them with my fingers, it sort of needs something a little smaller to get into the little cracks. You might notice a hole, you might notice a weird wrinkle. This pinch pot looks very ugly right now. That's fine. It's like the boxes. They start off a little lumpy, and we will work on smoothing them eventually. So I grabbed one of my modeling tools that's a little smaller than my finger, and I'm scratching away any parts that didn't look like they were blended. This helps connect it. We do not want to see at all where the 2 pinch pots were connected. We have to hide it. Anytime you accidentally poke a hole through, go grab an extra chunk of clay and put it on top. Anytime you see a blob you didn't want, scratch it off and remove it. So right now I'm going back and forth between scratching away cracks, blending in spaces. I haven't added any clay, but it is definitely fine to go take off some extra clay from another cube and put it on if you notice part of your pinch pot has a hole. Remember, it's okay if it's lumpy and bumpy. All right, after it looks like there is definitely no seam, you can use a bowl of water or simply the sink if you're working near a sink. You're going to drench the entire double pinch pot in water, or you're going to put it right under the faucet. Either way works exactly the same. Now we spend a very long time rolling it around in our hands. The muddier it gets, the more it starts to break down the bumps and make a smooth edge. Take a very long time to do this. I fast forwarded this video, so there's a clip where it looks like it's cut, because who wants to watch me for 6 minutes smoothing this? If you get sick and bored of it, set it down. You can come back to it later. I see a little crack, so I'm gonna go grab my modeling tool and try to scratch it out. Again, maybe I needed to add more clay, or maybe scratching it worked fine for me. That either way should work for you. Try both. And now I'm going back to rolling it around. The reason it's smoothing itself is because it was drenched in water. If you do not have water on it, this will be impossible. So I just fast forwarded many minutes of me smoothing this. You can see how messy this is. This is the messiest I think we get in this class. So check your edges, the sides. Can you tell where it was connected? The answer should be no, and if you can tell, then you need to scratch more away and you need to smooth it longer. You should not be able to tell where those were connected. Now, if you notice, my pinch pot still has a few bumps and lumps, but we are going to turn this into an animal creature now. So we have plenty of opportunities later to smooth things out. So this is the first step, step 1 of making a double pinch pot. Good luck. I can't wait to see how they turn out.